So, a lot has been happening recently, huh? Like Trump trying to crash our economy for like shits and giggles, I guess. I don't really know what goes through his mind except for like McDonald's and the funniest way to piss off Democrats, which hey, amen, brother, but a different time and a different place. Elon Musk, the Tesla guy, is going full robber baron trying to influence democracies across the world and looking lame as fuck while doing so. Social media, in the most miraculous of turns, is somehow getting worse. And the best part, you know those like 2016 anti-SJW videos that everyone watched? Well, the 14-year-olds who were watching that are now the people currently destroying our country's infrastructure. I want you to hone in on that. There is a less than zero chance that a Leafy is Here fan is the one controlling our spending. That is fucking terrifying. Say the least. It has not been a good time. It's been very bad, very not Skibidi. You know, I don't think Big Justice would approve of it, frankly. But hey, I'm here to give you a little reprieve in this time of dramatic changes. Here, let you lay your head down, just relax. While we talk about a rather simple, a rather basic topic. Facts. And how they don't care about your feelings. This famous statement, coined by theater critic and school shooting enthusiast Ben Shapiro, was kind of like the catch-all term for the right wing for a while, basically saying, the facts are on my side against etc. minority group, and your feelings can't do anything about it. Ignoring the nuance of the situation, how to actually tackle it. It's gained about the same amount of infamy as other terms like MAGA, Let's Go Brandon, I'm with her, kill yourself, and other catchy brain rot terms. Now, ignoring the issues with the term's application and use, and just generally as Ben Shapiro is a tiny little manlet, the statement is ultimately true. Facts, in fact, do not care about your feelings. And I'll accept that. Ultimately, we live in a capitalist world, and that's a fact. My feelings can't do shit about it. Yet. The simple idea that facts don't care about your feelings is a pretty easy concept to grasp. If only people of a right-wing grift could do that. Now this is a pretty ballsy, if not simple premise. My side is based, and your side is beta and soy-pilled. Yeah, it makes me sound like I'm Steven Crowder, and I don't even have a wife to beat. So one might ask, when I make such audacious claims, do I have proof? Yes, you stupid fucking... Now, of course, given this is a complex topic, I'm going to go on a case-by-case basis, because if we discuss literally every issue where this applies, this would become the most lazy, boring fucking video in the world, and I don't want to put y'all through that snorefest. Despite my beliefs, I am surprisingly not Noah Samson after all. So, my first major example is immigrants.
In my yard.
The people that, for some reason, most of America hates until they have to do the dirty jobs. Which, then they gotta do it. Because I don't want to do it, but they should do it. Now, the hatred of immigrants is not exactly a new thing. It was around in the 1950s, and the 1920s, and the 1900s, and the 1880s. And the main group of attack here recently is undocumented immigrants of a Latin descent, mainly referred to as Mexicans, because these people don't know how to differentiate. Now, while this being horrible would make sense if Mexicans were out there just fucking gunning people down, stealing all the jobs, stealing all the candies, infecting all our food with spicy shit, all the bad stuff that the right wing talks about. So I have to ask, what does the data say? Unfortunately, I was going to pull data from the Bureau of Statistics, but it has been put on review after a certain orange fascist fat fuck signed some executive orders. So there's that. But don't worry, I got other statistics. Well, hold on. This can't be. It's almost as if these fear-mongering points about certain groups, minorities, are usually completely unfounded. In other news, transgenders. Yes, trans people. They're rad. Most of America hates them, but they're rad. They are a lively bunch. You got your girl bosses, you got your guy bosses, your non-binary bosses, fucking... Sorry guys, I'm not a part of that woke agenda. I really can't find a place where I'm gonna fit in Queequem bosses and shit. But anyway, there's a lot of stir being made about grooming and how, these people regret being trans. And I just have to say, it would really be nice if we had a reliable study on the effectiveness of that good old gender-affirming care they take. It would be so skibbity, so nice and silly. Well, what do I see? A government-backed study on the effects, proving its positive results? Oh darn. Oh damn. Get fucked, dare I say? Please, cry into my fucking mug. And, of course, before you ask about the rates of trans people being groomers, I tried to help you with that one, and I couldn't find a legitimate study or research about the subject. The closest I found was a study on the rates of transgender hate crimes. It's almost as if it's a non-existent fearmonger point where the reality is that Minecraft YouTubers are 10 times more likely to be groomers than trans people. So far, this video hasn't been looking good on the receiving end. They've been getting a little dogged. It isn't going swell. But maybe they can come in and win here. Economics. The thing that everyone thinks Republicans are better at, because they say they are. No particular reason otherwise. They walk the talk the talk, grab them by the... Anyway, so what's the point I want to make here? Well, the idea that Biden's economy has been shaky and his economic policy has failed, supposedly, right? Wrong. Now, this one is especially hard to face, given, most people can certainly feel the effects of inflation and prices currently. It's not exactly a fucking joyful experience. To say the least, a lot of Americans are struggling. But, surprisingly, the data isn't bad here. Skibidi Biden has been, doing something other than speaking gibberish, hitting a pack, and, fucking sleeping. It's just given he took over an economy right after one of the biggest global pandemics we faced in a good goddamn while. I mean, the last thing I can think of is, maybe the influenza epidemic of 1918, but that's it. And, facing such an intense event that kind of shut down your whole goddamn global economy, it's going to take a good and long time to stabilize. But no, of course, because it feels bad, it is bad, despite the fact most people can't even name what he has done to hurt our economy. So we've shown 3 different examples of this case where the data contradicts the narratives peddled by conservatives. So, one might ponder, a little pontification there. Why do we even have these dang conversations in the first place? There's, of course, a couple reasons, but I'm going to give the first and probably most charitable. Anecdotes are far more effective. I mean, go figure, the same people who are shoving nerds in lockers don't care about statistics. That's a joke, by the way, guys. Before you go and cancel me like the woke radical left media you are. First you take my fucking M&Ms from me, and now this. God damn it. But seriously, there is just something more powerful about an anecdote, I guess. It's more recognizable, more personal, more close to the feeling, more close to the gut. Statistics sometimes can feel very detached and devoid of human connection. Stuff like statistically our GDP has been improving, yada yada. It hits much less harder than these flashy sentences like, "This transgender fucked my mom!" Because while one is the truth, the other is what people are directly feeling. The whole, the economy sucking thing and the other stuff I mentioned, not just transgenders fucking their moms. That's a very specific point. I don't want to get into that. However, of course, acknowledging what people are feeling, there is a spectrum and disconnect between feeling and fact. Feelings can deceive. They're excellent for gauging micro-individual effects, but they have no help on judging macroeconomics. Just because people have stories about how an immigrant stole their shoes and Bane broke them, doesn't inherently indicate a macro problem in our system with these goddamn fucking tyrannical supervillain immigrants. They just don't exist. At all. They're a mystery. And that's not to say these instances aren't valid to discuss. Obviously, it doesn't indicate a macro problem, but it doesn't invalidate these people's experiences. Obviously, bad stuff still happens. Immigrants are capable of crimes. Trans people can be predators. And Biden is indeed not very skibidi. Much to the chagrin of that goddamn communist Stephen Colbert. These things all still happen. Trust me on the groomer thing. I know, but again, that's more just YouTubers on average being pedophiles than trans people. The point is, though, that these more individual cases don't, represent a large issue, and minor cases have been used to demonize a mostly non-existent issue. Like I said, immigrants aren't fucking running around causing havoc, doing little evil things. They're making chicken fingers. They're the backbone of our goddamn economy. Trans people aren't going around diddling kids and just regretting everything. They're living their lives, and, I don't know, fucking listening to Chappelle Roan or whatever. There's also these lame-ass nerds I gotta talk about who just don't trust statistics in Poland, talking about how it's biased. Which, I'm not gonna say, all studies are naturally correct. There's always factors to include, and it's important to do your own research. There are some sketch-ass studies out there. Otherwise, our health secretary wouldn't be saying vaccines cause autism like some wine mom who's huffing crystals. That's a whole nother thing, and I don't want to yap about it right now, man. I could give less of a shit. My issue is these lame-ass fucking Twitter dorks who see that facts don't agree with them, and so act like these statistics are biased. And they put up these only stupid fucking infographics like somehow supposed to prove anything, when it's just spouting what they believe and, peddling these goddamn weird-ass conspiracy theories. And listen, man, all I'm saying is if you can't trust a pure-back statistic, why the fuck do you trust a businessman, rapist, and politician all in one? The man better be fucking divine. Oh, right, never mind. Forget about that one. All I'm saying is, I'd put thought-out facts before I use the words of men and women who'd burst into flames if they touched a Bible. So the thesis statement is, why has there been a paradigm shift on the idea of facts? Well, because it's optically viable. I'm not going to go into the anti-SJW atheist craze of 2016 because you can't fucking make me. I will run and I will shoot you. This era, however, was kind of the peak of that idea of right-wing fact-havers because these people were usually atheists who tried to uphold themselves as truth-tellers and also banana enthusiasts. But the game has changed. Religion and politics have become very closely aligned. And devoted belief is kind of like the opposite of hard fact. It's also just actual facts aren't on the side of the right wing anymore. In fact, the inverse has happened to the idea of facts don't care about your feelings. When people are vehemently defending a racist lie that Vance admitted was a sham because their favorite politician said it, it's pretty fucking bad. So I tell you, my soy boy liberal audience, what do you need to do? Well, simply just keep these facts at hand, cite sources, show graphs. Hell, having an anecdote or an account on hand really does help in these types of conversations. And if none of that works, I don't fucking know, dude. I'm not your coach. Just don't get into situations where there's nothing but bad faith, and don't overwork yourself. Please be well read, and that's all I've got to say. I'll see y'all later.